Ranking member for his line of questioning.
Well, thank you all very much again for being here, and I want to dive into some of the recommendations that you all have presented to the committee, and let's start with the coordination centers, which several of you referenced and have been piloted in different parts around the places around the country. I'll open this one up to any of you. Can any of you comment on the experience of your organizations with coordination centers? What's worked, what's not? What are the best practices that we should be mindful of as we look to expand this model across the country? So I don't know, Mr. Glenn, would you like to take a crack at it?
We have had conversation with HSI about participating with them on the coordination centers, but to this point we have not.
I believe in coordination centers based on our experience in San Diego County. We use it for every pressing issue. For example, we use it to track school threats very successfully, where we're able to know exactly whether a threat has been resolved and whether we're able to make that school safe. We use it in elder fraud, where we finally are able to track that we had $49 million stolen to elder fraud in San Diego in 1 year. So we look forward to having that same type of effort in order to gather accurate data. The best way to come up with solutions is to really know the size of the monster that you're dealing with.
And then, Mr. Glenn, one of the root causes of the rise of organized retail theft that you highlighted is the availability of easy platforms for resale, particularly online. And again, I'll open this up to any of you. What should we as Congress be thinking about when it comes to the resale aspect of this? Should there be tougher requirements for these online platforms to know their customers, to know who is selling these goods, particularly, you know, large amounts of bulk goods that are highly likely to have been procured through retail theft?
Yeah, thank you for the question. You know, in a perfect world, long before it's being resold, we would not actually experience the loss. I think the Informed Consumers Act was a great first step. But we also know that there's some opportunities with enforcement. We also know that there's some opportunities with education, and we need to continue to kind of round out the needs and the abilities of using the Inform Act to kind of help that e-fencing resale opportunity and actually put some teeth into it from a prosecution perspective.
Does anyone else have a perspective on that?
The Inform Act is a great tool, but it needs the people with expertise in order to make the cases. In the old days, we had the pawn shops, so we put together that you need to show ID and other things. So everything went online, and really this is why COVID shutdowns made more shoppers go online, so this became extremely profitable. But we need the FTC and law enforcement to be able to have the technology, the tools to work with those platforms in order to bring accountability.
Thank you. So I think we all agree that this is an issue that's worthy of our attention in Congress and that we all want to work together to try to help you in combating organized retail theft. That's why I am proud to have signed on as a co-sponsor to Representative Titus and Representative Buck's Combating Organized Retail Theft Act, and I certainly encourage all of my colleagues to take a look at the bill and do the same. It deals with the aggregation issue and penalties in the U.S. Code, but also gives Homeland Security and DOJ some additional tools on the investigative and data sharing side that I think are very important as well. But with the last moment that I have here, people are watching, and those of you from industry who are leaders in this space have adopted some practices at your level as well to help protect your employees and your customers. So I just want to give any of you one last opportunity. If there are any best practices that you have put into place that you would like to highlight that might be useful for others who are watching to see as well.
Thank you for the question. What I would tell you is that our process and our policy at the Home Depot is to make our associates understand the risk. First and foremost, it's an education process. 2, provide them with the tools for de-escalation, really making sure that they understand how to extricate themselves from these types of scenarios. And 3, to be great witnesses. Teaching people to be great witnesses to what's happening around them can help us then close these cases down, because we actually bring all this information in together into kind of a processing database for us, and we use that information to work with law enforcement.
Thank you all. I'll yield back.
Gentleman yields. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from New York, Mr. D'Esposito.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being here and for the work that you do. Madam District Attorney,